Well, good evening, friends. Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys and you ladies, this literally does not work. The plants look different in the reflection of the light and stuff than they do when I walk out here. I'm actually very proud of the way my backyard has kind of come together. The fish pond looks good, the plants look all good, and the cicadas haven't been as bad as I remember them. At least maybe I've been fortunate at my house that they haven't been as bad some places. Sometimes you're driving down the road and you just kind of like hit a swarm of them, and it's like boom, boom, boom. And when they splatter on the windshield, it don't come off. I'm telling you, you got to get a razor blade out there. Or like when I was going down one time to Florida, this is a crazy story. But we were driving to Florida, and I remember Michael and the kids were young, and I stopped off at this gas station that was out in the middle of nowhere in Georgia, and it was dark outside, and my windshield was covered with bugs. And I remember this guy coming out there, and I'm out here with the squeegee trying to clean, and it ain't coming off. It ain't coming off. And this guy comes out, he said, "Hey, you know what you need there, son? You need a corn cob." And I'm just like, just keep scrubbing, ignore this guy. This guy's crazy. He said, "Seriously, you need a corn cob, son." And I'm like, just gas tank, hurry up, get full. I need to get out of here because I don't want this to be deliverance. Seriously, I was thinking this is going to be deliverance right here. And he comes on over, he said, "Let me show you." And he pulls out a corn cob, he dips it in the wiper fluid, and he starts scrubbing the windshield. And to my surprise, all the bug crap came right off. I was like, "Damn, buddy, you're right. I needed a corn cob." So, never look down on somebody else's methods, because they may have something that you think is crazy as hell, but the shit works. Lola, you're hot, or at least the hot sauce is extremely hot. I opened up that Trinidad Scorpion Pepper hot sauce. It's not like the chip. It's not like the chip, but it's to have hot sauce. You gotta have more than just hot. There's just plain hot that just burns. It's just uncomfortable. But with that, you need flavor. You need some taste to go with it. And that stuff is actually really good. So shout out to Lowe's with the Lola hot sauce. That Scorpion Pepper hot sauce, that's some good stuff. In fact, that'd be good on some wings. So, Monday night's in the books. Shout out to everybody who was here in the live stream. Brian Hardy, one of our resident Washington football fans, along with my cousin Daniel, were in the chat. You know, the Washington fans are feeling themselves. We even had a Ram fan in here who swears that Matthew Stafford is the second coming of Joe Montana. I hate to tell you, I think you're headed for a rude awakening. I just hate to tell you that y'all putting all the hopes on there. It's just like Washington put all their hopes on Ryan Fitzpatrick. I'm sorry. I just don't see it. But, you know, then again, what do I know? I'm a guy with a day job and a voodoo doll, talking about sports from my outdoor studio in my basement. So why listen to me? But I tell you one thing. In tonight's chat, we were talking, or at least I look at things differently, okay? I'm old, and I don't say that to be negative. I'm proud that I've lived 55 years of age and seen the things that I've seen, because I have seen the world change. You got to understand, I remember having a black and white TV that we had to go up and turn the knob on there. No remote control. And having only 5 TV channels. No internet. And hell, the basic video games, Pong hadn't even been invented. I was here. When we flew off to the moon, I remember us landing on it, okay? Trust me, I've seen a lot. And my generation was a lot tougher than the generations I see now. In the same way that my dad's generation was even tougher than us. My dad looked at me as like, y'all a bunch of biatches, okay? My dad doesn't cuss, but he would say, Y'all are biatches. The same way I say, y'all are some biatches. The thing that I actually, and it hit me more tonight than before, actually like about our Cowboys is guys are owning their shit and actually taking personal responsibility about trying to be better. And you're like, what are you talking about? What am I talking about? I think about the Eagles situation with Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz gets put on the bench. Now, if Carson Wentz is honest with himself, he can't honestly look at himself and say, I was playing great and don't deserve to get benched. You did. I'm sorry. You were playing like ass. And anybody who says differently doesn't understand football or has a different agenda or narrative on there. I'm sorry. You just were. You were terrible. That's not any shade against you. People will go through bad times and have slumps. Instead of looking inside and saying, okay, I'm going to take this opportunity to get my shit together and get my job back. Okay? Instead of rising to the occasion and working harder, which is what we had to do because there was no, oh, you know what? I don't want to be here. Trade me. And on top of it, for the Eagles to have a better deal with the Chicago Bears and not be able to take it so he could go to where he wanted to go just blows my mind. To have Deshaun Watson literally say, after signing the second largest contract in the history of football, you know what? I don't want to play here. I'm gone. I'm out of here. I'm sitting out. Screw y'all. Aaron Rodgers. Do you think Aaron Rodgers is going to show up tomorrow for minicamp? I don't think so. But you could look at guys like Vander Esch right now. You could look at a guy like Jaylon Smith. And for them, seeing the Cowboys not only draft linebackers, but use the number 10 pick in the draft as well as a third-round pick as well on linebackers. These guys are there to take your job. Instead of saying, you know what, I want to be traded. I'm out of here. Screw y'all. Pouting. Especially Vander Esch, who didn't get that fifth-year option. He's taking it upon himself and being a man and owning his shit and doing what he needs to do to get his place back. To me, bro, that goes back to character. That goes to self-responsibility for your actions and your position. That's old school. That's me saying, you know what? I'm going to be so good that you ain't going to get rid of me. That you going to have to play me. I love that. Because see, being old, I look at so many of you younger people that have just been coddled your whole life. That everything has been handed to you, and yet you still want more. That ain't the real world. That ain't the real world. And if you don't learn that you only get what you put in, you're going to have a rude awakening. And no, my shirt's not pink. It's red, okay? It just looks this way because of the firelight. It's red, all right? Ain't wearing no pink shirt. I know what you haters going to say right there. But that ain't the case. But I love that about Jaylon Smith and Vander Esch, that these guys are looking at it from the standpoint of we got to be better if we want to be here. And that's where Aaron Rodgers screwed Green Bay. Because Green Bay, make no mistake about it, Green Bay figured we're going to get rid of the salary, we're going to start over, we're going to be a running team, we're going to play this young guy. Aaron Rodgers, you know, he's going downhill and everything else. But he took it upon himself to be the best player he could. And literally throw a monkey wrench in there. I love it. Whew. Well, that's another day in the books, y'all. Another day in the book of Mark. It's another day I will never get back. And another day that gets me a little bit closer to, you know. I Memorial weekend, I went by my brother's grave, put some flowers on there, and because it's still new, it's still got the soil on top of it that's collapsing. And they let it settle before they put sod onto it. And there were two rocks that were sticking up out of there. Not about that much of a rock that was sticking up out of there. And I decided, because I have lots of rocks with the fish pond, that I was going to take one of those rocks and put it around my fish pond. And, you know, I started digging around this rock, and it wasn't a little rock. It ended up actually being a rock about so big. Some of you may have seen the video that I had when I brought it back. But when I brought the rock out, the crazy thing is, it's shaped just like a pork shoulder or a ham. Exactly looks like a ham, except it's a rock. Brought it home, I cleaned it up, and I have like a small little deck or a dock that's out of the fish pond. And I just set the rock on the wood there, trying to figure out where the perfect spot was going to be for it, because I hadn't figured out where I wanted it to be, but I wanted to be someplace that I would see it and be reminded of my brother. And what was funny was last night, after I did my video, I went over to feed the fish. And it's crazy because the rock that I put there, setting where I did, I didn't know it, but there's a light that I have that's shining on the waterfall. And the light hits the rock perfectly. And it's going to sound crazy, but that spot is the perfect spot, because when I go out there and I sit on the bench, I see this rock, and the way the light hits the rock, I almost feel like my brother, who always liked the water, who was in salmon boats out in Alaska and was always salmon fishing, or he moved down on the eastern shore and was planting oysters and always crabbing and fishing. It's kind of the perfect spot for that rock. I don't know why I told you guys that, but I think about my brother quite a bit. And I wish I had spent more time. Don't wait to spend time with people you love. Don't wait. Because we always think we have more time. But when the time's gone, you can't ever get it back. So, use every day wisely, friends. And tell people you love them. So you might not get a chance to tomorrow. Hope you guys have a great night, and I'll see you soon.